Hi, my name is Haley Franks, and this is my highlight reel for Building Confidence with Google Sites sessions for EDIT 690. So, to begin, I split my field experience into two different training sessions. The first session was a refresher course with Google Sites, and this was aimed for teachers who already had a Google Sites created and had used it. A lot in the past few years. So they were kind of more experienced teachers to St. James Middle School. I started my session off with these refresher teachers by explaining the instructional technology program at Coastal, why I was doing this, and why I chose to focus on Google Sites with our school's digital portfolio initiative. You can also see on their screens where I shared my website and materials with them so they could also follow along as I was going through the session. After discussing, how important it was for a digital portfolio training for our teachers, since our school relies heavily on them, I went over the choice board that I created for the teachers. So in my hands, I had a kind of tic-tac-toe board where the teachers could choose what they wanted to update on their digital portfolios that day. Previously, I went over some of the stuff on there. So like adding an image carousel, creating a cohesive theme, adding buttons or other organizational tips that I've noticed. So I went over that with them. And then the rest of the session was where I went around and worked with the teachers. There are some other teachers off to the side that you cannot see. But I worked with them, I can see right here, I'm working with Miss Dickinson on creating a logo and a banner. And throughout this session, she actually created a theme. So she created the fonts and colors and headers and everything that she wanted for her portfolio, which was nice because the teachers haven't really been on this since last March. So it was good for them to see, okay, let me see what I have here and what I need to add on and just make this look a little more tight and nice and professional. The teacher over to the right, Miss Adams, she was just updating her artifacts from this year. So we're required to put at least 2 artifacts each semester. So like our semester 1 and semester 2 of just teaching strategies that we're really proud of and that have helped us throughout this year. And so she was updating her first couple of artifacts that she needed to for our midpoint conferences. My second training was held after school on Wednesday, November 2nd. And this training was for more like Google Sites beginners. So these might be new teachers to our school who never really used digital portfolios or Google Sites. And also had a couple of teachers joining that just did not feel like they were real experienced with working with this program. So after starting the session off by going through highlights from the instructional technology degree program from Coastal, I went into why I chose Google Sites and digital portfolio focus, especially for the newer teachers. I thought it was important because I feel like they don't ever really get that explanation of why it's important. So this little clip is just a great way to show all of you why this was a big initiative for. And one of them was the digital portfolio. I know every year that we get new staff here who have never heard of a digital portfolio. I know I didn't when I first started. I was not familiar with Google Sites whatsoever. And throughout the past few years, I've learned the importance of them and how nice it is to have help for other people, because that slow process at the beginning of the year can be very nerve-wracking otherwise. So for me, I guess digital portfolios have become a great tool to teach and practice reflection skills. It is it's a habit I have any day or any way, like every day when I'm driving home, is to kind of reflect on my day. What went well, what didn't, and sometimes, being able to go ahead and put it on that digital portfolio, even the bad times, is still a great reflective lesson of like, hey, this didn't work, so now I know to try it this way. Some other great benefits, to celebrate those achievements. I tell students all the time, I've got some that are into creative writing now since we read some suspense text. Hey, that's awesome. Put it on your digital portfolio. Be proud of that. You're a Shark ambassador. Take a picture. I'll pretend to shake your hand, put it on your portfolio. So it's a great place to celebrate those. It's a way to promote the process of learning that takes place in your classroom. A lot of times, we do a great lesson and we wish that administrator or somebody were in here to actually see it. So that is a great way to still show that off. It helps to demonstrate progress over a length of time. I know for me, it's definitely progressively getting better. I can tell I'm using way more instructional strategies than I ever thought. So having that portfolio has been nice. And they're easy to store, retrieve, edit, and share. The rest of my session for this day was a work at your own pace sort of session. So right here, I am explaining the Google Sites website that I created for teachers and emailed it to them before the session started. So I go through quickly like each one of the pages. We kind of started with creating that theme. I showed them some student examples that I have and my own example of a theme that I'm using throughout my portfolio. After that, I showed them how to create their own pages and I showed them different examples of how teachers are doing their pages. Everyone kind of has their own system to how they want the pages of their portfolio to look. So I showed them multiple examples there again, student examples, my examples for myself and other peers. On the website that I created, it does have step-by-step slideshows of how to do each one of these things, which I know, they can obviously, Google them themselves. But sometimes I feel like I know when I was first starting, I didn't even know where to start. So I felt like by at least doing the basics in a step-by-step form would at least help, especially these newer teachers, okay, this is step by step. I can click through this slideshow of what I need to do for each part. After that, I really just kind of walked around to each person and helped them individually with whatever they are working on. Over here on the left, Miss Liggett, she knew a good bit about Google Suites, so she at least knew the basics of Google Sites. So she just added her, semester one artifact from what she has been doing and updated that. You'll see me throughout this kind of move off to the side. I was working with Miss Lewis, who was trying to use this portfolio as a classroom page, but also her professional portfolio. So she had things everywhere and she was struggling with organization. So we kind of had some discussions back and forth and came to the solution that she might need to have two separate portfolios. That one that would, be more for students and parents, also create, include a link to her professional one, but then also have that professional one that she can add those artifacts and whatnot on each year. And then Miss Gabert, who is over here on the right of my screen, she is very new to Google Suites and our school. Her past schools have not used G Suites. So she is very low as far as technology skills. So with her, I really, stood a lot by her one-on-one and really helped her build that site. The great thing was she already had pictures of her instructional strategy. We just needed to, add the captions, add some explanation, and work with really how to use the program. Teachers kind of left as they needed to with this, since this was after school. There was a lot of things going on this day. We had different clubs and tutoring sessions going on. So I had some teachers kind of in and out, but Miss Liggett and Miss Gabert were my main two that were there. And like I said, they kind of left after they needed to, but it was a great session. Feedback from everyone was very productive. Someone even mentioned possibly sending this out to students, which I think is a great idea. There again, I know they can use Google and they can Google how to do things, but sometimes having that step-by-step kind of narrowed down without all the extras, or you could do this, or you could do this, kind of helps our students and helps for what we need the digital portfolios to be used for. So all in all, this was a great session. And I'm really happy that I did it. I think this is something, especially this session, I will be doing in the future, maybe during one of our PD days before schools get set up. My principal and I talked about offering a uh, optional, hey, if you want some digital portfolio help, especially if you're new to our school, come to Miss Franks' room during this time to get that help. So this was a great session, very helpful, and I learned a lot throughout this semester.